So I'm here to tell you the three most common offenses of a physical therapy private practice owner. The three most typical things that offend us the most. The most offensive things that we run into, number one, decreased reimbursement. The decreasing reimbursement, the out exchange for what we do is literally, in my opinion, at this point in time, criminal. I'm not about to get on a channel like this and share with you guys some of these negative Nancy out points and not give you a solution to it. So if in fact you're in one of those markets and you're just seeing your reimbursement continue to dwindle and go down, and you're saying to yourself and you're scratching your head and you're saying, a massage therapist can get a certificate in 12 months or less and make more money than I am per visit per this insurance carrier. This is insane. Pilates instructors, personal fitness trainers, massage therapists, as I said, all making more money in some areas of the country based on what the insulting degree, the offensive amount of reimbursement you are getting from some carriers. So here's what you can do about it. Step one, determine what your cost is to provide one session of therapy. Doesn't matter. Forget about the payer. What does it cost you to provide that therapy session? Because then we have to see what is the revenue that we can generate in that unit of time. So let's say your schedule is one patient every 30 minutes coming in. They're staying 55 to 60 minutes, which is 55 to 65 minutes. That's absolutely the best schedule in the country right now on a financial basis, an operating basis, an exchange and abundance basis. For those of you who have successfully figured out how to use the 4 strategic principles to pulling off the one patient every half hour staying 55 to 65 minutes, that's ethical, that's an exchange and abundance, that's appropriate for the populace you're seeing. Well done to you. You are in the top 10%. Most likely, just with that advantage alone, it's going to enable you to operate at a much higher level and enable you to do much greater things for your patients, your staff, your practice, and yourself. So that is ideally the number one schedule in the country. What do you have to do to pull that off? Be willing to bring patients in 5 minutes early or keep them 5 minutes late. Be willing to use care extenders ethically and appropriately and professionally to enable better clinical patient management efficiency of the patient flow, the management, the administrative side, the home exercises, the setups, the exercises that they're needing to go through so the therapist can be documenting while supervising and making sure that patient is safe and stable. Number 3, unattended modalities, things that don't require direct one-on-one presence for you to be able to administer. That is clinically relevant and clinically effective and helpful. Don't do it just because. You don't ever do anything just to generate more money. It's never my philosophy. It's give and exchange in abundance with each and every session. And last but not least, point of service documentation. We've got great companies like Prediction Health and eScribe and all these other companies. You could literally go into a treatment room today and just have a conversation. Your notes are done. So use the advanced technology to your benefit so you're not spending more time doing documentation later. Those clinics are typically seeing 55 to 65 visits. Crushing it. That's weapon number 1 about succeeding and fighting against the decreasing reimbursement. I believe over the last 12 years, Medicare has cut our reimbursement by 16.9%, but let's just say 17%. That's insane. That's insane. The cost of living, the cost of labor, the cost of my rent, my utilities, everything has gone up. And yet they find it in their infinite wisdom to pay us less for the services we're providing. The cost of becoming a physical therapist is on average $150,000 getting start to finish through an entire program. None of this makes sense. It's offensive. And none of this makes sense because why? We don't work in a healthcare environment. We don't work in a healthcare system. We work in a health cost management system. Say it for what it is. The people, the powers that be that have the purses, the pharmaceutical, the insurance industries, even the damn politicians, they're all looped together. It's one big cartel as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not relying on anybody to fix this problem, but you and me, we can fix this problem. So get the ideal schedule for you and your ideal market. If you're not going to do that schedule, you know what the next best schedule is? The 40-minute. The 40-minute schedule, if you have the volume, you definitely want to go there. Now, look, I still have owners in the Pacific Northwest that are making 140 a visit. Hey, if you're banging out 140 a visit and you want to do 1 hour appointments, good. Keep the getting good while the getting's still good, right? I mean, see the patients on the hour sessions, and if you can make that work, that's fine. But I'll tell you what your problem is with that. The people that come over there are asking for big money too. So you're not really gaining much because the cost of living over there is really high. Taxes are really high. The rents are high. The payrolls are high. So you can kind of justify that if you want, but here's my advice. If you get on the wagon with the rest of us and you're running a very tight ship, your net margins and your growth ratios are going to be above the average for sure. You're going to be at the top of the list if you can get on board with this now and don't sit back on your heels just because you're still collecting 140 visit. So that is number one, most offensive, the decreased reimbursement that is completely out of exchange and misrepresenting the quality, the quantity, the expertise, and the skill sets that we're applying to our patients within our community. And let's face it, 10,000 people every single week, statistically, from the last time I looked, are turning 65. So you have to be in this Medicare pool, in my opinion, to capture such a great volume of patients, right? So we definitely, absolutely have to be there. You know what the second most offensive thing is? It's literally the entitlement. The entitlement. It's crazy. People coming in with no experience at all, wanting 6 figures. I am so over hearing about that from owners like yourself, reaching and going, well, I got to compete with the Joneses. I got to keep up with my market, keep up with my community. And I'm like, that's just criminal. Like, these people have no experience at all. That is not the value for the service they're going to be able to provide, because you're going to have to invest in them. They're a new grad. Until they're 3 years out, they're just not going to do it. They're just not going to be independently proficient and get the level of outcome or have the level of patient care experience that you're looking for. On average, not everybody, I understand that, but on average, a new grad needs to be humble. They need to come in and say, I want to find a facility where you're going to spend time with me. You have a mentorship program. You have a professional enhancement program. They're 2 different things. You have a student reimbursement program. You have an employment agreement that's going to enable me to be here for a committed period of time, 2 years, 3 years. And in exchange for that, you're going to give me something above and beyond in terms of a bonus system, or like I said, tuition reimbursement system, or an advanced education system, or your certification in your specialty, your OCS, or your manual therapy certification, whatever that may be. This is a relationship. I didn't get married to be myself and have her just do stuff for me. That's not what it's about. I wanted to shower her with an abundance of time, love, affection, exchange of effort, and enable her to live a better life because of the connection. It's the same thing in practice. Life doesn't stop at the door of your front office, of your office's front door. Life doesn't change. It's the same way you want to run yourself in the social circles, friendship circles, familial circles, your family members. You want to have that same culture. You want to be known for that same thing inside the 4 walls of your office. And so when somebody's a spoiled, rotten kid at your house and they want chocolate cake for dinner and they want to watch YouTube till 2 a.m, if you say yes to everything, tell you what, I come back and see your house in another month, it's going to be chaos. Kids are going to be hanging from the ceiling fans. Things are going to be going crazy. Nobody's getting anything done. Schoolwork's not getting done. And everybody's obese. Everybody's going to be overweight, eating and doing whatever they want. Don't run your practice like that. Don't make that same mistake. Go in, be disciplined, be clear, be concise. Put forth a lecture. I have that for all my executive clients, called the 2-way street, that says we're paying you this plus benefits plus compensation plus flexibility. And so the total package we're offering you is this. It's not just your $75,000 a year. It's another 11 grand in perks, benefits, taxes, insurance, blah, 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 right? So let them know the true value of what they're really receiving when you hire them, the full value of that. And then tell them, in exchange for that, I need 85% efficiency. I need production of 3.75 units or greater. Reimbursable units, folks, payable units. I need a net promoter score of 9 or higher. I need patients to be raving fans of yours, wanting to tell everybody, so that 6 out of 10 evals that come into this practice are because of the success of the delivery to that patient. That's return business, friends, family members, coworkers, peers, doctor referral sources. We refer more people because of the experience of others. Just like when I talk to my startups, and I do a ton of startups, I probably do, oh gosh, I don't know, 30 to 50 startups a year. I mean, we are like the guru in startups. We have a 27-step process. It's almost a sure thing that you're going to succeed and get to your 3rd year anniversary if we grab you, because we're giving you the knowledge and tools ahead of you needing to know them. So I'm very proud of that. But my point here is that once you get through that and you hold that in and you have this two-way street, you're going to have a mutual level of respect and a mutual level of accomplishment that's validated on a regular basis. Validating people for what they do and how they are as a professional is completely different than acknowledging people for who they are as a person. If you can integrate both, this self-entitlement will go away, because it's not okay. It's honestly, it's not. I went into a practice in California years ago, and it was in a rural market in California, and she had 2 locations, and the one location was more rural than the other. It was an old gold mining town. It was really kind of cool. And she had a therapist there that she needed abundance of patients, no, like 3-week, 4-week waiting list for sure. And there was a therapist sitting there on her schedule making $140,000 a year. Staff therapist, just treating patients, Northern California, 140 grand. I remember sitting her down saying, "You got to fire him." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "You've got to fire him. Like, he's being a criminal. He's criminally taking advantage of your rural market situation by demanding that. Tell you what, you let him go. He's not making anywhere near that from anywhere else. And secondly, let's just run the numbers. How much money are you losing per year?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, I do. I mean, he is in the, but people like him and he's good." Justification, justification, justification. I don't care how good he is. I don't care how much people like him. It's the red. You're in the red. Operationally, you're not wearing the most senior hat, not that of an empathetic, compassionate therapist. Knock that off. You gotta wear the hat of a senior executive leader. You have to run a healthy, viable organization so the good people that you hire can thrive and survive in your organization and under your roof. You are a liability to your own practice, is what I told the owner. And she was like, "You just said what?" I said, "You're a liability to your own practice. You're literally committing treason to the mission of this organization by misleading them off the cliff." And she was like, went to lunch, came back and said, "You know what? You're totally right. I needed somebody to tell me like it is. I needed to be sober about this." And she fired him. She fired him. She said, well, not hardcore cold fire. She said, "Look, I can bring you down to 110,000, which is compatible to what we're doing and the exchange rate we have, or you can leave." And he left. And then she told me months later, he tried to come back because no one was going to pay him that anyways. So anyways, I digress. So the entitlement, right? 3rd most offensive thing. This offends me. Oh man, I don't know. They're all really offensive. I don't even know if one's even higher than the other. I don't know. Maybe the student one isn't so bad because it's mainly administrators telling them and filling their head with crap saying you're worth this and everyone's taking advantage of you. Administrative staff, university staff, that is not true. My experience in 30 years is the PT private practice owners were PTs too. I have been staff PTs too. They wouldn't want to treat their staff any different than they would want to be treated. They're God-loving, heart, soul, earth-walking individuals that are compassionate as well. And so you making this up, I don't know where you're coming up with this. I don't know, corporate franchise. I don't know. I don't even want to throw them under the bus. I just think academia needs to get real and get sober. People aren't out here running PT private practices for their family and for the people that they embrace in a criminal, malicious manner to try and take one over on somebody. It's just not happening. 3rd most offensive thing is obviously, like I said, it's the decreased reimbursement, number 1. It's the out exchange, the entitlement, number 2. And it's the ethics card. The ethics card, number 3. You're trying to put things in, get people to deliver a number of units that are representing what they're doing, and they're thinking you're trying to buy a bigger boat. You're telling them you need to be able to learn how to cross over. I just gave you the strategies of how to do it, and you're coaching them how to do it, and they're thinking like they know best. Like, you can't do that. I can't. That's unethical. I can't have 2 Medicare patients here at the same time. What are you talking about? Go find me the verbatim sentence that says you can't have 2 Medicare patients in the clinic at the same time. You can't bill for them at the same time, but you could absolutely cross them over. You could absolutely go back and forth. You could absolutely add units and add time. What are you talking about, new grad, 6 months out of school? tutoring me, who's been a therapist for 20 years in this field, and has been to every single course, every single seminar, and every single regulatory guideline and compliance program that I could possibly get my hands on. I've embraced and lived, eat, and breathed it myself. And here you are in your whippersnapper wisdom of 6 months out telling me that that's an unethical Oh my heavens. We need to be firm and strong and just, sober them up, give them some coffee and be like, look, do you really think I'm a criminal? Why did you take the job if you think I'm that? Like, I'm being harsh. You're not going to say it like that. But you're going to sit them down and you're going to understand as an executive and as a leader, and I'll wrap it up with this. You can't manage over disagreement, folks. We just can't manage over disagreement. So if this student, the new grad, this employee, I don't know, maybe it's a therapist who's been out 5-10 years and they've got all these fixed ideas from their prior employer. You have to bring someone like myself in or somebody else who's been doing this a very long time as a third-party educator, or pull the references, pull the data, sit down, have a lecture. You can't manage over disagreement. You have to educate them on the rules, policies, and principles that will straighten them out, that they can feel comfortable with and confident with. Absolutely do not let them get away with this idea. Well, my instructor said, well, yeah, that's because your instructor couldn't succeed out in private practice to begin with, so they seek the shelter of academia, and that's very comfortable because they have their pay, benefits, and retirement all cared for them, and no one can possibly fire them unless they actually kill somebody. So, I'm being sarcastic, people. Don't give me hate mail, academic therapists. I love you too, but I'm just being a little sarcastic here. I get frustrated because we're trying to build a livelihood for our families and our patients' care experience and the staff that we employ. And then we run up against these things. And where are they coming from? They're not coming from us. I can tell you that. So those are the 3 things that get me fired up, as you can tell, about being so offended, about trying to do the best job we can for the most people in the greatest level and greatest capacity possible. But we run up against these headwind things that are just uncalled for. They're just ridiculous and nonsense, but you have to know how to handle it. So learn the soft personal management skills, learn how to gain agreement through mutual realities, get them to agree with little bits and pieces until they eventually agree with the whole entire concept. Be kind, be considerate, acknowledge them for who they are, validate them for what they do, and you can have a thriving, successful practice and hopefully feel less offended.